let's have a quick recap of the postcards in week 10. There's not been much additional new information. I think there was a bit of digging around this chap, George Smith, and identifying that he was 8 battery of the motor machine gun service, which was great and tied up with what we had in the database. So some interest in this kind of photo. These group photos are really interesting. And they actually get a lot of character of different people all the time as well. We've got this one with certainly with a link to Stephen Chambers' book was quite nice to see as well. And just an opportunity to remind you as well to put the 16th of July in your diaries to come along to the National Army Museum, and please do support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/VickersMG to make sure the association carry on doing what it's doing. So in this photo, we've got quite a range of equipment. It's one of the few photos where we see the steel helmets being worn, which is great. But so we'll start with the two officers in the front here. On the steel helmet, you can just see on the front there that it looks like we've got cross machine guns, which is something you see on helmets that have survived, or collectible helmets, whether those are original or not, it's a different matter. But you can certainly see that he's got it. He's got it there. Glasses, I think, on that officer as well, and then their Sam Browns with pistol order. And one of the things that I just sort of spotted is that actually it looks like the sergeant there has a Sam Brown pistol case covered, rather than the open top one that you'll see on the back there in the 1914 pattern equipment. So that's quite interesting. That revolver also looks like it isn't a Webley. It might be a Colt or Smith & Wesson. Rather than the standard Mark 6 Webley. So the two officers there. That officer on the left, on the left, looks considerably younger than the one on the right as well. I don't think we know which unit it is from the front. We've got 3 Vickers machine guns again, which is a little bit strange because, as we noted in last week's photo, 3 doesn't relate to any particular number of guns or establishments. We have all the guns look roughly the same. Yeah, they're all single arch top cover. They have we've got a Mark II tangent sight slide on that one, and a Mark 1 on there. We've got Mark 1 muzzle cones throughout, and all of them have the Mark 1 direction dial and the elevating wheel cover. They have they're being shown with their spare parts cases, which are Mark 1s because they've only got the single strap there, and unreinforced around the lid. And their ammunition boxes, I can't see this one or this one, but this one looks to be a number 3 with just the end flap that opens, so that's quite a scarce type of box. We do have one in the collection, but there's something you don't see. They're made out of wood, and then just the end opens, and then so a sort of smaller flap. They've all got their ammunition belts in. I can't see whether they've got ammunition in. By the looks of it, this one's come through quite a bit, so quite possibly they don't have the ammunition belts in. We've got a mix. Have we got a mix? Yeah, we've got a mix of 08 pattern and 1914 pattern equipment. So there's the 08, there's the 14 being shown. Easily to tell the difference with the belt buckles. And what we can see is that there's small box sweat respirators being worn, and they're being worn over their shoulders on the outside of all the equipment, so that they can get to them quite quickly and turn them round. Sergeants, corporals carrying revolvers. Is everybody carrying revolvers? Actually, it looks like they could be. Oh no, we've got one here where he's in his 14 pattern equipment, rifle equipment. But other than that, the vast majority are in pistol cases, with revolvers. You can just see the small box respirator over the shoulder hanging down there as well, which is quite good. Certainly they've been in combat. There's a mix of faces and emotions here. I think those two are contrasting, aren't they? Certainly that stare versus the smiling face there. So really interesting photo in this one. Certainly these group photos, one of our favourites, I think. And it looks like just on the top here we've got a medal ribbon possibly being worn as well. So I can't see any other insignia, can we? Stripes. No, don't think there's anything else. Yeah, they're not even wearing shoulder titles, are they? possibly one or two. No, I don't think they're wearing the brass shoulder titles either. No, certainly not clearly. So yeah, that's quite interesting. Is that no? Maybe they are. Just see it there a little bit. I think it's just the tones on the photo aren't picking it out very well. Or maybe they're slip-on shoulder titles, the cloth ones rather than the brass, so they don't show up as clearly. 5. Other than the fact it's a French postcard and a very basic one at that, there's nothing to tell us any more information on the back. So I think we're starting to recognise this balustrade now. So yeah, it's interesting to see that again. And what we've got here is a nice machine gun corps soldier, a private. Machine MGCI on the shoulder title there. Looks like they're just wearing standard general service buttons by the pattern that we can see on them, the 1903 pattern belt. But what stands out in this photo is the Skillet Arms badge for a range taker above the good conduct stripe there. So that's the R in the wreath, or in the laurels. So that's really nice to see. We don't see range takers pop up too often, not with their insignia on show. I mean, there clearly is less of them, 1 in 8 at least. So yeah, that's quite nice to see. Wedding ring and his cane there, and then just standard boots and puttees, and folded at that, so we can see that stripe, that different fold pattern there. So yeah, quite nice to see a range taker on display. And we've got Simpson and Son from Wharf Road in Grantham again, another blank postcard. So we don't know who it is on the front, but certainly we've got another Grantham postcard here, and I'm sure we'll see more of those as the weeks and months go by. Now this is a really clear photo of presumably a complete machine gun team. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men. We know that it was 6 to 8 men in a machine gun team. We'd have a range taker on top of that as well, probably, because I can't. Yeah, so it looks like these are all quite early on in training. They're all wearing quite crisp and clean 1914 pattern equipment, and they're interestingly, how are they wearing their? It looks like they are wearing their large packs on the valise straps, or the utility straps, rather than the attached to their web equipment. So I don't think I've noticed that before. That's a really interesting spot. So normally these would go over the back of the valise, the large pack, and the tab that you can just see on that other soldier's shoulder here keys into the buckle that you can just see it there and supports the pack, but they look to be carrying them so they can drop them more quickly, which is quite an interesting way of doing so. They're all wearing Machine Gun Corps cap badges, but the shoulder titles don't seem to be. Are they MGCI? They might be MGCI. Yeah, you can just see them there. They do seem just a little bit different to normal, but no, they just seem to be the brass ones. Haven't taken a sort of second thought. All of the caps have got their wire stiffeners in, which we see a bit more in training than we do in France. And yeah, everybody, they just seem to be quite clean and crisp soldiers in this case. The gun itself is a single arch top cover Mark 1 tangent sight slide. No lightning on the barrel, on the breech casing. We've got the strap there for the other end, or to carry with the Sangster fitted, and the Sangster we can just see behind him there, and a one muzzle cone. And standard ammunition belt. We haven't got any direction dial or elevating wheel on the tripod, and the ammunition box is a Mark III with these grooves in there that were originally designed for part of the field carriage, so that you would be carrying it alongside the Maxim and they wouldn't bounce out. Yeah, so nothing really more to say about that, but that does seem it's just a really nice informal, with some depth to it as well, in front of their training huts. There's no more information on the back from back photographer, so we can't really glean a location, but I'd certainly guess that it's Clipstone or Bout or Grantham, those sorts of training locations in the UK for the Machine Gun Corps infantry. So here we have a machine gun corps sergeant in his uniform as he is in India. So he's got his tropical helmet there with the machine gun corps cap badge on the front, machine gun corps collar badges, and he's also wearing a couple of medal ribbons that I can't work out from here, so somebody can, if you know, please do tell us. MGC shoulder title, sergeant stripes in a really nicely starched uniform, 08 pattern web belt there, really crisp shorts. Look at that! Look at that fold in there. Great putties, not so great knees, but great putties and and boots. And it says yours truly, George. I think that is India. So that's how we know it's India, and that could be a 22. So it could be, or maybe 20. So one of those last. Great post-war photo of the machine gun corps in India there. Nothing on the back to tell us any more about the individual though, but it's this English and French that we see in a lot of these India and Middle East postcards. So here's an interesting photo. We've got the four guns. It's number 2 Mobile Company, number 1 section, Machine Gun Corps, April 1919. Now, number 2 Mobile Company is really unclear. It doesn't tell us that much about it. Mobile companies aren't something that we've experienced or understood too much. So in the war establishments, that is. I can't remember seeing that, so we'll have to do a bit more digging around it. But we've got the four guns of the section. We know it's post-war there. We've got a mix of individuals in here, and because it's April 1919, we've got a wound stripe here, on the officers as well. So the sergeants, both sergeants and the officers have wound stripes. The corporal has 2 wound stripes. We've got the crossed rifles of a marksman there. Anything else? We can see a bit of the insignia, so that looks to be like the company flash on there as well on this lance corporal. It seems to be on a few of them. It's not one I recognise, so it might be a 1. Maybe it's 1st Battalion. No, I don't know. I can't tell what that is. So we'll have to do a bit more digging around that. But otherwise, it's sort of standard stuff in the photos, really. The guns are marked up. It seems to be 1 to 4, but with Roman numerals. So on them, as opposed to the Arabic numerals we normally see. So they are, so we've got you see the lightning on the breech casing there, Mark 1 muzzle attachment, Mark 1 tangent sight slide, Mark 2 muzzle attachment, Mark 2 tangent sight slide, and that looks to be like it could be a 5-arch top cover, so we've got a bit of a mix and match. We've got the direction dial and elevating wheel on that one, whereas we didn't on this gun. We've got elevating wheel and direction dial on that, Mark 1 muzzle attachment, Mark 2 tangent sight slide, and that looks like it could be a smooth casing and a single arch top cover. And then this one looks to be 5-arch top cover with a Mark 1 tangent sight slide, Mark 1 muzzle cone, Mark 1 direction dial, and Mark 1 elevating wheel. So we've got a mix of ages of guns along here as well. Which is always quite nice to see. The guns don't have any accessories with them other than the tripod, obviously. So we can't really talk too much more about that. What equipment have we got on the individuals? 1914 pattern equipment, which for April 1919, many people will say wouldn't be in service, but as we sort of have learnt, the machine gun corps hung on to it for a lot longer than other units. Now this chap with the cross rifles skillet arms badge has got this mark on there on the photo as well, so we assume it's his postcard or one he's sending to anybody else. Quite funny that this chap is not looking at the camera. Definitely trying not to look in the right direction there, looking across. So yeah, quite a nice group photo actually. So we've got a bit of information on the back of this card, and it says Bill, 1914-1918 war, just under our watermark there. Just arrived at Bolton, okay. No time for letter tonight. We'll write tomorrow. This is a photo of the section taken at Glasgow. Hope you're all well at home. Best love, Will. So that's interesting. Number 1 mobile section bin at Glasgow. It says my address is Private W Cant 119765 Number 1 Battalion Machine Gun Corps, so maybe that is that one. Number 4 Nucleus Company, B lines. Oh, and then it's the hut he's in, so 6 C's hut, something like that. Boughton Park, Grantham. So obviously he's returned to Grantham from Glasgow, perhaps, maybe for a course, maybe for because it's the depot. So having checked the database, what's quite interesting is Private W. Cant, William Henry Cant, 119765, born Copford, resided Colchester in the Machine Gun Corps in July 1917, and he served in the 39th Battalion. But he was a prisoner of war at Merville on the 12th of April 1918, and his address was later shown as Abbots Lane, Colchester. So this is obviously after he's returned from being a prisoner of war. He's gone to Glasgow, and then he's returned back to Boughton as well, back to the depot, possibly for demobilisation. But that's speculation on my part. But yeah, interesting to have something after he's returned from being a prisoner of war. Now this is a bit different because what we've got here is a machine gunner, obviously, machine gun called cut badge, but on a tam o' shanter. So we see this with some of the Scottish divisions that the Machine Gun Corps men, Scottish or not, wore tam o' shanters. Certainly 51st Battalion being one of those, 51st Highland Division. Now he's in his 1914 pattern equipment there with the bayonet, and you can see quite nicely the short magazine Lee Enfield rifle, number 1 Mark III, fitted with the 1907 pattern bayonet as well. So this would live in here, and I don't think we've seen. So he looks like he's on guard duty or something like that, or maybe just a nice posed photo. His putties are done perfectly in sort of normal regulation manner, and we can see the leather rifle sling, shiny boots. So possibly guard duty. He's certainly a very smart soldier. And quite nice there to see the tam o' shanter, and behind the cap badge there we have a bit of tartan, I believe. I can't remember the exact pattern, but it often was inherited from the forming units for the different companies and then into the battalion as well. Sadly, absolutely nothing on the reverse to give us any more information though. Now this is another fascinating photo of the Machine Gun Corps because it doesn't feature the Vickers machine gun. These are both Maxims. We've known from one of our photos in the first week that Maxims were still in use for the Machine Gun Corps in mid-1916, but not much later, so it does help us date it. We have the two officers in the middle there, and what's also quite interesting is that many of the NCOs have whistles attached to their pockets. I spotted one over here as well, with the Lance Corporal. So they're obviously possibly in training. I don't know. Maybe they're using whistles in a lot more detail than others, but it seems to be the whole section. Maybe a few more men than otherwise. And we've got one here with a different cap badge, so not Machine Gun Corps. I can't quite identify what that cap badge is actually. I'm hesitant to say Guards, but no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So maybe somebody can help with that one. We've got a few more around here as well. So these. Oh, maybe no. Maybe it's Guards, Coldstream Guards. So possibly that one just looks a little bit different. Anyway, so it's Machine Gun Corps. Perhaps it's a course. Perhaps what we're seeing. Yeah, perhaps it's a course on Maxims. Not really sure, but obviously you can just see the trestles and the benches being used to stand on for the rear row as well, or for the which is quite nice. There it is. That's that cap badge there. And we can just see something on the shoulder titles there, which seems may be a guard's thing as well. Certainly, machine guns. This cap badge is a little bit strange, and the crown seems to be off of the guns a little bit more as well. So there's something strange going on with some of this stuff. The fact they've got Maxims, mix of units, that different cap badge, slightly elevated. I'm sort of possibly thinking it could be Canadians. Not 100% sure. We do see CMGC cap badges later on. Maybe somebody with better insight into uniforms would be able to help us out on this one, because I'm not seeing anything that jumps out to me that it isn't. We've got two captains, a captain and a lieutenant there as well, with normal machine gun corps cap badges, and we've got a second lieutenant there. So we've got perhaps section officer and the company officer. Yeah, let us know what you think of this one. Let us know what you can work out from it as well. Number 3 bat boxes, British Army Maxims. Nothing really special about those. 1903 pattern belts being worn throughout. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know what people think of this. On the back we have a little bit more of a clue that it's the Purbright and London photographer to the Brigade of Guards. So it could be Motor Machine Gun Corps at Bisley, an early photo from them and a training course there. Or it could be one of the Guards units that based out of Purbright as well at the Guards depot. So yeah, let us know what you think of this one.
Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon if you're able to, and let us know of anything you'd like to see in the future. I look forward to hearing from you.